All right, let's dive in. Today we're taking a closer look at Colleen Hoover's Confess.
Okay, yeah.
And just a heads up, folks, we're working with excerpts from the novel.
Right.
So, it's like puzzle pieces. But let me tell you, even with just these pieces, Hoover's already weaving this tangled web of relationships and secrets and, oh boy, the confessions.
It's a lot to unpack for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Buckle up, listeners, because this one's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
The premise itself is just so unique.
Right.
We have this artist, Owen, who turns, get this, anonymous confessions into paintings.
Interesting concept.
Do you imagine? I mean, the raw emotion, the stuff people are willing to reveal when they think no one knows who they are.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It makes you wonder what secrets people are carrying around.
Right. And through these confessions and the paintings, we start to piece together this story about love, about loss, about some seriously questionable choices.
Definitely. Hoover doesn't shy away from the messy parts of life.
Oh, no. She dives right in, which is why, thankfully, we have our expert here.
You're too kind.
To help us, to help us make sense of it all.
That's the fun part.
Right. So right off the bat, we meet Auburn.
Single mom.
Yeah, she's moved to Texas.
New start, maybe.
Well, hoping for one at least. But she's definitely carrying some baggage.
Oh, for sure. Both literally and emotionally,
Right. And one of the first things we notice is this painting. It's in her apartment.
Yeah.
The last one her deceased boyfriend, Adam, created.
Heavy stuff.
It feels like it's more than just a piece of art.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Symbolism, maybe? What do you make of it?
Well, on one level, it's definitely a symbol of loss. A reminder of the past, a love that ended tragically.
Right.
But it's also about Auburn's own artistic desires. We know she's a hairdresser.
Oh, right.
But there are these hints that she yearns for something more.
That scene where she's lingering by the help he wanted sign?
Yeah. Almost like she's searching for a way out, a new path.
Okay, so we have Auburn, and then there's Owen.
The artist.
Yeah. And he's a survivor. Car accident when he was 16.
Yeah, it's great.
Took the lives of his mother and his brother.
Tragic.
So it's no surprise he comes across as, guarded.
A little haunted, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Do you think his art, this whole turning confessions into paintings, is that his way of, processing his own grief and guilt?
I think it's a possibility. He seems drawn to these confessions, these glimpses into other people's pain.
It's like he's trying to make sense of suffering.
Maybe. And by giving them a visual form, a way to express what's often hidden, he's offering a form of catharsis, not just for himself, but for the people sharing their secrets.
Okay, and then throw in Adam's brother, Trey, into the mix.
Yeah, complicating things.
And he just happens to be a police officer, too.
Adding another layer, right?
Yeah, talk about tension. He's got this protective vibe.
Possessive, almost.
Right. When it comes to Auburn. There's definitely some history there.
Oh, there's a story there. Hoover's just dangling it in front of us.
There's like a slow reveal.
And it's working. Definitely keeps you hooked.
Right. There's this simmering tension. You feel it.
Yeah, for sure. The dynamic between Trey and Auburn is, it's charged. Makes you wonder what happened between them.
So much unspoken.
Maybe some jealousy, mistrust. We'll see.
Okay, so we've got Auburn struggling, financially, creatively, haunted by Adam's death. Owen battling his own demons, finding solace in other people's secrets. And Trey lurking in the background, just adding to the tension.
Recipe for drama.
And then, of course, their paths collide.
It was only a matter of time, right?
Right. Auburn ends up at Owen's studio during his art show.
Fate, maybe.
Or just, good storytelling.
Probably a bit both.
But it's more than just a chance encounter. There's this spark, this pull between them, like magnetic.
You almost feel it, right?
Right. And they start opening up to each other.
Little by little.
Sharing these little bits about their lives. And then, boom, Hoover throws in this detail. They have the same middle name.
Oh, I love that.
What's that about?
Okay.
Just a coincidence? Or is Hoover playing with us?
I think it's more than a coincidence. She's known for these little details that hint at destiny. Connection.
It's like saying, hey, pay attention. This isn't random.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, right? Is it just a quirky detail or is there something deeper going on?
A deeper connection, maybe.
Yeah. So they're connecting, talking. He says he's never brought anyone before.
That's significant. He's letting someone into his world.
Right. And she goes.
Takes a chance.
Which is also significant, if you ask me.
Yeah. Stepping outside her comfort zone.
So they're dancing, laughing, sharing stories. The walls are coming down.
Yeah.
And then Owen drops this bomb. He has a cat named Owen.
I love that. Like, what? Come on, Colleen Hoover.
It's great. What do you think she's doing there?
Messing with us. Showing us a different side of Owen. I don't know.
I think it shows us his humor, his playfulness.
Mm-hmm.
It contrasts with that brooding artist persona.
It's like he's not just this tortured soul.
Exactly. He's more complex than that.
That's multifaceted.
Exactly. And that little detail, it adds this warmth to him.
Humanizes him.
Yes.
Okay, so their connection keeps deepening. And Owen, he actually trusts Auburn with a box of confessions.
Wow. That's big.
Yeah, the raw material for his next show. But there's this other box, smaller, filled with confessions he never wants to read again.
That's intense.
Why show her that?
Vulnerability. He's sharing his most guarded secrets.
Yeah.
The ones that have touched him too deeply. Wow. It speaks volumes about the trust he's putting in her.
It's like he's acknowledging the weight of those secrets.
The burden.
And then Auburn, she writes her own confession.
Oh, no.
Slips it into the box without Owen knowing. Hoover, she's a master of suspense.
Right. Talk about a cliffhanger.
What did she confess?
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Talk about a power move, right?
I know. Auburn confessing her feelings, but anonymously.
Why? It's brilliant.
Like she wants that connection, but she's scared. Totally relatable.
Oh, absolutely. Putting yourself out there is terrifying. But then
things get even crazy.
Owen shows up at her apartment. I was like, okay, here we go.
Right. Romantic evening.
Nope. He's been arrested.
Oh, wow. Talk about a curveball. So is this just, a plot device to force them together?
I don't think so. I think it's more than that.
Okay.
It reveals so much about Owen.
Yeah.
We find out he took the blame for his father's drug possession.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot to process.
It is. What kind of relationship makes someone do that?
Right. Sacrifice your own freedom for your dad. It says something with their family, right?
Definitely. Complicated, maybe. Where Owen feels obligated to protect him, even if it hurts him.
Yeah. And Auburn, she's worried about him.
Yeah.
Like genuinely worried.
Mm-hmm.
They barely know each other.
It's deeper than attraction, right?
Way deeper.
It shows her compassion, her willingness to see Owen's pain. They connect on that level, the shared struggles.
So they spend more time together. He opens up about the accident.
The one that killed his mother and brother.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
I mean, it explains so much.
His guarded nature, his art. It's like all these pieces start to fit.
This is a turning point, I think. Sharing that trauma, letting Auburn see his most vulnerable side.
Yeah. And she responds with empathy, creates a safe space for him.
It deepens their connection, for sure.
And then Owen starts painting his mother. It's like he's keeping her memory alive through his art.
It's beautiful, really, the way art can heal.
Yeah. Confronting those painful memories, but making them into something beautiful.
Exactly. Transforming them.
But then Trey shows up at Auburn's apartment. Jealous much.
Definitely threatened by Owen.
Why does Hoover throw this in now?
To remind us, Auburn's still tangled in this web of relationships.
Yeah.
Trey brings all those simmering tensions to the surface.
Okay, so we have Trey, we have Owen's confession about moving away soon. It's like everyone's pulling Auburn in different directions. And she has her son to think about. Her mother-in-law, Lydia, who's...
controlling.
Oh, yeah. Big time. It's tough being a single mom.
It is. So many pressures, judgments, trying to balance everything, but it also shows Auburn's strength.
Her resilience.
Yeah. And then Trey, he takes it up a notch. He's not just jealous, he's using Auburn's vulnerability, pressuring her.
To be with him?
Yeah.
It's not right.
It's manipulation, plain and simple.
Using her desire to be near her son against her is a form of abuse,
And it's so subtle, so easy to miss.
Exactly.
So one night, Auburn ends up at Owen's apartment. She's drunk. And
Oh, boy.
Owen, he knows it's a mistake, but...
He gives in.
Yeah.
It's complicated, isn't it? It's so complicated. They're both vulnerable, looking for comfort.
But clouded by alcohol and emotions.
Recipe for disaster.
Maybe.
Because guess what? Trey finds out.
Uh-oh.
Confronts Owen. Accuses him of, interfering.
The tension is just...
explosive. It goes beyond jealousy, right?
Right. Definitely a power struggle.
Trey, the cop, all about control. Owen, the artist, a threat to that control.
It's deeper than just personality clash. It's about societal power dynamics.
Okay, brace yourself. This is where things get really dark. Trey admits that he and Auburn,
What?
they were intimate when she was 15.
Oh my God. That changes everything.
Right, it explains so much about his behavior, his possessiveness.
And abuse, plain and simple.
And Owen, he tries to warn Auburn, but she's in denial. Stuck in this cycle.
It's heartbreaking. She's been controlled for so long, she's blaming herself.
It's a classic response to manipulation, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
And then Owen's studio is vandalized.
What?
Red paint everywhere, destroying his art.
That's awful. It's a statement, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Violent, intentional.
And Trey, he pretty much confesses to it when he confronts Auburn.
He's losing it. Auburn's confession about Owen, it's like a crack in his control.
And he lashes out, trying to regain that control through violence and intimidation. Classic abuser tactic. And Auburn, she's still trying to rationalize it all.
She wants to be near her son so badly.
And she's willing to overlook anything. It's scary how easy it is to get trapped in that cycle.
It is. But Owen, he sees the truth, tries to warn her. But will she listen? Red paint. Yeah, think about it.
They know, right?
It's not a random choice.
She's like all that rage, that anger thrown at Owen.
Exactly, a symbolic attack. And Trey basically confirms it,
Oh, yeah, when he confronts Auburn, like her confession is this huge betrayal.
But his anger, it's masking something deeper, I think.
Insecurity.
Yeah, he's losing control. Auburn connecting with Owen, it threatens his whole power dynamic.
So he lashes out. Classic abuser move.
Trying to regain that control through violence, intimidation in Auburn. You'd think she'd see it by now, but
she's still making excuses for him.
it's like she wants to be near her son so badly
It's a difficult situation for sure.
that she'll put up with anything.
She's hoping Trey will change. Be the father she wants him to be.
But deep down, I think she knows.
Yeah. It's a dangerous compromise.
Owen sees it too. He tries to warn her, but
It's hard to hear sometimes, when you're so caught up in it.
it's frustrating, right? Watching her make these choices that seem so...
Self-destructive.
Yeah. Is Hoover trying to show us how hard it is to escape an abusive relationship?
I think so. It's not as simple as just walking away. There's emotional ties, fear.
And then Trey, he forces himself on Auburn.
It's a turning point, but a horrible one.
It's like Hoover's not shying away from the reality of abuse.
No, she shows us how brutal it can be and how important it is to remember it's never the victim's fault.
But Auburn, she finds the strength to fight back.
Finally sees Trey for who he is.
Realizes she deserves better, and her son deserves better.
It's a powerful moment. She's breaking free from that cycle, taking control.
And Owen, even after everything, he still steps up, takes the fall for his dad, goes back to jail.
Wow.
I mean, it's selfless, but why?
He loves her, plain and simple.
Even though she keeps pushing him away?
He sees her potential, her strength,
Yeah.
believes in her, even when she doesn't.
And while he's in jail, he writes her a letter.
Oh, that letter.
A love letter. Pouring his heart out.
It's raw, honest, vulnerable.
Like he's giving her part of himself.
And the fact that he writes it down, it's tangible, something she can hold on to.
And then she reads it.
That's the moment.
Everything clicks. She sees the truth about Owen, about Trey, about herself.
It's like a light bulb going off. Owen's words, they cut through all the denial, the self-deception.
She sees how messed up her choices have been.
But she also sees what real love is.
That's not about control or manipulation. It's about respect, support.
Fighting for each other.
But it's not over yet. Owen, he gets out of jail and confronts his dad.
About the addiction.
Yeah. Cuts ties.
Wow. It's huge.
Just finally putting himself first.
Taking care of his own well-being. He can't save his dad, but he can save himself.
And then finally, Owen and Auburn, they meet.
At her apartment.
Yeah. And they admit their feelings.
About time.
It's a beautiful moment, but it's not a fairy tale ending.
No, it's real. They've got a lot of baggage to unpack, a lot of healing to do.
So much shared trauma.
But they're choosing to face it together. Honestly, vulnerably. It's hopeful, but it's realistic too.
So what's the takeaway here for our listeners? After all these twists and turns?
I think Hoover's showing us that love can bloom anywhere, even in the midst of all this messiness.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
No, but it takes courage, honesty, facing those dark parts of ourselves, and sometimes the most important confessions, the ones we make to ourselves.
About our worth, about what we deserve.
Exactly.
Powerful stuff. And that, my friends, wraps up our deep dive into Confess We've explored love, loss, abuse, the power of art to heal, to transform, and the messy, complicated beauty of human connection. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep confessing those hidden truths.